Welcome back, guys. It's the Brothers Geek Out podcast, and we've got Klynton back on through the cow.
Yeah, I'm back again. Glad to be back here with you guys.
Listen, apologies.
Yeah,
supposed to get you back on it ages ago.
Yeah, I know. It's fine. Everyone's been busy. Life has its ups and downs. So we're still here. We still keep in touch. I'm obviously still trying to get the content out there. Still keeping an eye on what you're doing and what your brother's doing. So, and you guys are still pushing through.
Yeah, no, we're doing the best we can. It's like, recently got back from holiday. He got married, so congratulations to him again. But I found it hard to get back into it, dude.
Yeah.
I genuinely found it hard to get back into because, I've been wanting to kind of distance myself from being online so much.
Yeah.
And this was the first break in about 5 years. Me and the family get, we had the kid, the house, and then COVID happened. We couldn't go nowhere. And then this was the next big trip. So I said to myself, you know what? I'm going to delete all the social media apps off my phone. I'm going to take a 2-week break and just kind of go from there. And then I came back and I felt detached.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and it's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
But I just feel like I was... Go on, you were saying?
Yeah, sorry. The sun just came through there.
The Superman sun getting through, giving him the vitamins.
Earth's yellow sun, just powering me up.
Yeah, no. I just generally just felt detached, bro. I felt like I needed to do that to refresh my mind. I thought it'd bring back a bit of creativity, but it made me weird. I came back at a time where there was a lot of, I don't know, there's a lot of negativity online, and it was like, I don't want to see that no more, to be honest.
Yeah. So to explain that a little bit more, did you have an idea before you went away, or is it something that sort of got you while you were away, while you were in Singapore? Because did they have different rules over there when it comes to the social media and the phones?
No, that was a decision I made, bro.
Yeah,
it was a decision I made because I realized, with the type of work that we do, and content is key. People want to see continuously. You have to be present quite a lot.
Yeah, that's true.
And I kind of just said before I left, I remember I was in Heathrow Airport and I said, you know what, I'm not making no content out there. I'll tell people that we'll continue the podcast, but I just said I'm getting tired. And
because the tough thing is with TikTok is because you're consistently trying to come up with stuff that either grow your channel or just to be out there consistent. And I see a lot of people recently who take a step back from it because sometimes, so people like you or like me, you want to put out your best content. You want to talk about stuff. You want to do that stuff. But the only thing that seems to be go viral is the same hocus pocus that everyone seems to do. And
it's hard. It's hard.
Yeah, so I think sometimes with myself, I sometimes see it a bit disheartening because sometimes you do something, you talk about something, you're like, oh, this is gonna hit, and you're like, it's good, I get some good back and forth, and you're like, no, nothing, and then some random crap you do, all of a sudden, just takes off.
And it's true because I feel like we have a lot of responsibility as content creators. We're parents as well. I know our kids, our grandkids later on in the future. This is stuff that's online. They'll see it. So I don't want it to be. I want it to be funny still. Some of the stuff we do is quite funny, so that's why I suppose we enjoy each other's content. But I want to be able to have some positive messages in there as well.
Yeah, definitely.
And it was. I think I just came to a point where I was run down as well. I was working so hard. I still do a 9 to 5, and it was like time to switch off. And I had the greatest time ever because all I used my phone for
take photos
and being in the moment. And you miss things like that. And I mean, we grew up in those times where we didn't have the mobile phones.
No. And
when you did,
it was literally text and a phone call. That was it. And badly pixelated pictures when it finally got one with the camera.
Yeah, so I mean, So I did that, man, and I came back and I thought I tried to give it a go again, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to be specific on what I push out there. Like
Yeah, yeah,
I'll always do stuff that like the podcast will always continue. That's me and my
yeah,
brother. We get to connect, we get to talk, and it's working. So we're going to stick to that. But there was
yeah,
a couple of videos in between that I was following trends to try and get some more views and
yeah,
likes,
yeah.
and then I was realizing, hold up, it's not even bringing me the right crowd, and like
No,
the
probably.
content that I did do brought me in the right crowd. I should just stick to doing that.
Yeah, so that's why
So,
like a
and
couple of times I went off topic, when they would talk about like different things, like obviously that they were talking, what was it, like the Will Smith stuff and all that sort of stuff. I
yeah,
thought,
yeah,
I was off topic there. I'm like, that's not really my forte. Like
mm,
my forte is my watching my favorite films, watching my favorite, consuming my favorite content from like comics and
yeah,
stuff like that. That's my niche. So let me stay down those lines. If I do something, it's all going to be, if it is off topic, I'm going to bring it back to something that I know. It's
yeah.
going to be
No,
something.
of course.
I'm going to find a way to integrate it into the pop culture that I'm interested in.
No, of course, of course, of course, of course. And I mean, I think this is the reason why I've been trying to get you back on for a while. And I know I've been slacking. I've been slacking, but it was one of the videos you tagged me in, and I know we had a bit of back and forth on
Oh
it.
yeah,
Was after watching Miss Marvel,
yeah,
and then having a thought of time traveling back to those times.
yeah,
Was really interesting thought, bro. I mean, what made you think of that? Because it was actually really deep that
yeah,
that content that you put out
yeah.
there. Because
Because it's something that's
I
always
think,
been on my. It's all something that's been on my mind because I always, I love history, and then obviously growing up in the UK, you only get a certain part of history. But luckily for me, my family being from the Caribbean, they never sort of let you just see the baseline. They want you to see everything. And I went to multicultural schools, and as you learn more, obviously being black, you learn more about slavery, you learn more about
mm,
just colonialism, you learn about, especially like when I think back to when my granddad came to this country in the
mm,
early 50s, 60s, and so on. He was part of the Windrush,
mm-hmm.
and then find out like how hard it was for them at that point, and why they actually got let into the country was literally because the UK was like in a bad way after the World War II,
That's right.
and in order to have certain jobs done and all these certain things done, they brought in a lot of people from the Caribbean and Asia as well to pick up the slack, sort of, so to speak.
Mm. I did.
And
This country is built on that, bro.
yeah,
That's the honest truth. It's built on that. It's our ancestors that put this
yeah,
place together, started businesses, doing
yeah,
local things. They did a lot for us, man. I can't praise them enough for making that
yeah,
sacrifice from leaving.
yeah,
Kind of, I would have said, a really nice place.
yeah,
I mean, here to start something new, and then help us along the way as well. But I mean, same here, man. My dad taught me my history as well, and what my granddad did after the Second World War. And
yeah,
same thing, he came around the 50s and 60s as well during that time of Windrush as well. No, he did his fair share of hard work to build this place up, but it's just, it's not taught. It was never taught to me in school. Like
yeah.
it's not a curriculum part. Like what we get was
All the best bits of
Americans
Britain.
helped. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
exactly. The
yeah,
Americans helped them. No,
yeah,
they didn't. I mean, you're looking at all the soldiers from like Africa and then Asia and then India and the rest of it, and you're like, hold up, like
yeah.
why was this part missing? This is key
And
parts of stuff that people need to know.
how often they were sent to the front line first. They're,
Exactly.
what they call cannon fodder.
Yeah.
You let
Exactly.
let
Exactly.
the enemy
Oh
let the enemy
man.
empty the clip, and then you can march forward after that. You
Oh
know,
man. Horrendous. It is horrendous to hear stuff like that, man. And like traveling back in time to try and work on something like that.
yeah,
It's a big sacrifice, man. It's
yeah.
a
Because obviously,
massive
I've
sacrifice.
been a fan of the Flash forever, and obviously, the
Yeah,
Flash obviously back at one point caused Flashpoint by saving his mother from dying.
yeah,
And then it changed the timeline
completely.
exponentially. But
Yeah,
then I think to myself, like, if I had the powers of the Flash and I went back, like, you to correct certain parts of history, and you can't even say correct it because obviously I wouldn't be here without certain things
Mm,
happening. My
that's right.
kids that I have now will not be may not be here. The one,
Mm.
but if you go back and you still have the memory of these things, but I just don't know why I'd want to course correct things. I'd like to put everything, like I said, on a level playing field.
No, I mean it'd be interesting because I don't know if you did you ever watch Quantum Leap?
I saw parts of it, yeah, bits of it, yeah,
Basically, he used to leap. Basically, he travels
yeah,
back in time, leaping into different people,
yeah,
correcting their paths in the
yeah,
process. But it didn't majorly change the timeline.
yeah,
It just changed their timeline, but everything else, like the Second World War and Vietnam and things like that, all still
yeah,
happened.
yeah,
So me thinking, like, if I was to do travel back in time, it was to leap into the decision makers of
yeah,
this of how it all started, to
yeah,
change in their thought process to think we don't need to go to war, we don't need
yeah,
to do all this mass stuff. It had me thinking about going through different people, but that still could affect the timeline in some way where I wouldn't have what I've got now either. So
yeah,
it's really time travel is like really tricky.
yeah.
Really
It's
tricky. So it's a
it's
big sacrifice.
yeah, and it's just and like, would you go back far enough? Like, have I learned enough to know that I'm doing the right thing?
Yeah,
You know, obviously with like say slavery, there's a lot of times where blacks would sell blacks and so on and stuff like that, and that's been
yeah,
one village will want to get rid of another village, and they'll say, all right, well, leave us, you go there,
yeah, yeah.
you get them instead, and it's just like, and that's the same thing they did with Asia as well, where they would get
That's right.
one people and they'll like help
Yeah,
them become
that's
think
right.
they're gonna get better than another.
That's right. That's right.
That's how a small group of a couple thousand could take over a huge
Exactly.
country. Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly
So
that.
it's one of those things, like I said, we said that in that conversation where like everyone's governed by self interest slightly, but and it's just like you would never be able to tell who's pure of heart.
No, no, pure of heart. That's the honest truth because it's power and greed that plays big parts in all of this. Because the people that were involved to say, you know what, look, help you
Yeah,
over that village and continue
yeah,
because they're going to get paid a little money or whatever was going to happen.
yeah,
Greed, man, and people, and we are selfish.
yeah.
We are selfish, and I think it's hard to find people pure at heart when there's that much on stake. You know, my
Yeah,
life,
yeah.
even if
Because
it's
even
not
like
money, it's my life.
yeah, because even when you think about like, I love Black Panther, and when it came out, everyone was like, "Oh, Wakanda forever!" Everyone was like, "Oh yes, 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 great, this is amazing." If
Mm.
only there was a place like this. And you think like, why isn't there a place like this? Like I think that's where my mindset went, was like, if I could go back in time, could I turn Africa? Would I be able to help things to make Africa turn into
Well, they would
Wakanda?
have.
You know?
They would have. I mean, it's the all the resources that came from Africa, bro.
Yeah.
Everything, everything was taken. You know what I mean?
And I
It was
often
it
have
was
a conversation with some friends and people I know, like I say, like, how were they not ready? Like if the sort of Europe and so forth had all the guns, all the gunpowder, all the
mm,
potentially um,
mm,
military knowledge,
yeah.
and then they say how the education and everything from like Eritrea and Africa was so great. Like, how were you not ready to say no? And it's just little things like that go like that go through my mind.
There, it's a tough one because there are people that played their part in that as well.
Yeah, and they,
People from there that played their part.
and there's a saying, history is written by the victors.
Right?
So as much knowledge as I think I have, I don't. I probably know
No,
nothing.
no, exactly. And the thing is, that's the hardest part of being in the reality in the world we live in now is that with everything that's going on, we will never know the truth
Yeah,
uh, until depending on what you believe in religion and Judgment Day and what's going to be shown to us on that day as well. Like, in the Islamic religion, we believe that when Judgment Day comes, we'll get to see everything that went on in the world. It's going to be a long day, but it's going to be a long day. But, that's when we'll see truth, people's truth, and what we did to other people as well. It's just, we became really cruel.
Yeah.
And I don't understand where that came from, where, we're born out of love. We destroy things cruelly,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's sad. It is sad.
And I see a lot of things because obviously with my job, but also my clientele are some of the, very well-to-do of around the world and the UK.
Yeah.
And when I say some of them, like the resources they have has been in their family for generations, some of them.
Okay.
And it's like you're like, something happened here. Like, you didn't just go to school and do great in your GCSEs and this is what happened.
There is always something behind there, man, and there's going to be that privilege as well. And as you said, it's through generations.
Yeah,
it's through generations, man.
And I think it's because when I see stuff like that, I think, the level playing field would have been great.
Of course, bro, and that's what I think. That's what originally, and I mean, this goes back to, again, religion and stuff, and the beginning of time and everything like that. That if we were all treated equally, had a playing ground.
Yeah.
But for some reason, somebody thought, let's take that power. Let's do. They just got greedy. They got greedy, and as human beings, we are selfish. There are things we want, and we'll do anything we can do. And people will go that extra mile. You know what I mean? Where some of us would be more realistic and say, all right, I can get it, but it's going to take a bit of hard work. Where some people would do it and not think twice about the cruelty they're going to do it when they do it. So it's an interesting, it's a deep, interesting topic. And as you said, we don't know the full story. We'll never know till later on. Not unless, it's hard because everybody who does do their research, I mean, it goes so far back, bro.
Yeah.
No. And the world we live in now, it doesn't really teach us about where we came from and where the world, what the world did to itself to get to where it is now. We've come to this technological part where we're consumed by content and stuff like that. So, and everyday life, people are just trying to worry about. I mean, in the UK, as you know, we're all trying to work out, how am I going to pay my gas and electric bill?
How am I going to pay my gas and electric? How am I even going to afford to get to work because of the fuel?
Exactly. So, like, those everyday things that cling on to us, pushes us away from what history and the background and things we could have picked up on, and it doesn't give us that. We live in a time now, it goes too quick, bro. We don't even get the time to get that now, to do that. And it's hard unless you fully put your life, if you're a historian and you put your life into it and you've studied into it, then there's only a handful of people that are going to just reveal things later on.
Unless they give everyone access to the Vatican, and then you go down there and read through the scribes and
exactly, bro. Exactly.
That's not going to happen anytime soon.
No, that's not. No, I doubt it. I don't think that'll hit the World Wide Web just yet, bro.
Yeah.
But in general, bro, like, content, man, and it's something that people don't really know about, and they should just ask, because some people, they find it difficult to ask a question, and I get it all the time when they'll be like, oh, like, how come you don't eat non-halal meat? And I have to give them the whole spiel of it and the rest of it, give them a bit of history. And I was like, you don't have to be scared to tell me. I'm happy to tell you. But some people have that thing where they're like, oh, you didn't eat. And I was like, well, you've come to a restaurant and there's no halal meat here. So, and to be honest, I don't want to be paying 40 quid for a vegetarian meal.
Yeah.
I'll wait till I get home. I'll wait till I get home. like it's different now. It is like some people will ask questions, some people are too afraid, and some people
Yeah,
just don't want to change their minds, bro. And
yeah,
again, it's mindset, isn't it? And like as you said, we grew up in multicultural schools,
yeah,
so we took an intake of everything that was around us,
yeah.
and we grew up with a cultural knowledge of
Yeah.
everybody that was around us. I
I
mean,
said one
this,
thing I
yeah,
regret at school was the fact that even then we always like being Caribbean. There's
yeah,
this thing where there's a divide where you're like, okay, you're the Caribbean crew, all right, we're the Ghanaian crew, we're the Nigerian crew, so all those sort of things, and like obviously I broke the mold because I sort of I was sporty, so I hang around with everyone.
mm,
But there was people there that always almost like wanted to have a
so
segregation within
yeah, that's human
the
beings. That's I think that's from my point of view. Like I know most of my family members who listen to this one ain't gonna like this, but
yeah,
uh, even Asians are split like that, and
yeah,
the Muslim religion is not meant to be like that. But they've even segued that into different sects
yeah,
as well. There's Sunnis, there's Shias, there's I
yeah,
don't even know how many castes there are.
yeah,
Islamic religion and even cultures as human beings is as one.
yeah,
So I'm gonna accept everybody as one, and everybody who prays as one as one. I'm not gonna sector them out in different regimes.
yeah,
So I don't. That's. I feel like that became a cultural thing after.
yeah.
Like
And then,
everybody stick with who you know and what you know,
so
and be
even
with
when
the people.
I did my was it not 23andMe? What's the thing when you do your ancestry.com?
Mm,
And if you could see the breakdown that I got of like I was like 23% Nigerian, this,
damn.
that, and it was just and like it was just crazy. And I'm like, I was
That's
thinking like, this was and I've been raised Caribbean. Mom's from a place called St. Kitts and Nevis. Her dad's from a place
yeah,
called Aruba. My parents from a place called Montserrat. As far as you know, growing up, you're Caribbean. But obviously, you knew that you were brought to the Caribbean.
mm,
But to break it down and find out where exactly my roots were, and I don't know if that plays a part inside me where I am open to so many different cultures. That I have my white friends, I have my black friends, I
yeah,
have my Pakistani friends, I have
mm.
like friends from all different cultures, and I don't know if it's in me to. I've just been an accepting person. It's just like
Yeah.
if
No,
you're
that's right. And I
if you're a good person, we vibe. If you're not, then we're not gonna vibe. It's nothing to
yeah,
do
exactly.
with anything else.
No, it's true. It's important, I think, and I feel like I don't know the set regime that people have put when we're growing up as well, and it's in culture. I mean, even in Asian culture, they I mean, they came here. Most of them afraid, not knowing what's going on, and they didn't realize what they were
Yeah,
doing. Like
yeah,
luckily, my parents weren't like that, and we were raised differently. But I saw some of my relatives, and I was like, dude, that's a bit deep. Like,
yeah,
you can't be saying stuff like that in front of me because
yeah,
I'm gonna take that offensively because
yeah.
that's my people you're talking about. It doesn't
It's,
matter what color, skin race, religion, whatever.
yeah,
I've accepted them for who they are, and they've
yeah,
accepted me for. I've never been judgmental about what
yeah,
they eat or what they do or how they pray.
yeah,
And the color of the skin, it didn't make no difference then.
no,
Why would it make a difference to you now?
yeah,
We all cut and bleed the same way.
yeah.
Just,
It's quite
there's
funny.
not a lot of love,
Yeah,
and that was caused years ago.
even to recently, I was looking at people talk about the carnival, and they were talking about. Yeah, I saw people interviewing people and going, "What do you feel about Afro beats being played at carnival?" And like all this sort of older people and like more switched on people, like, well, that's our culture. It's just because it's not from the Caribbean. Like Africa has its own carnivals, everything together. Those cultures were brought from Africa to the Caribbean,
Yeah,
and people kept them up, like the outfits, everything. Even if people have never even heard, if people in the Caribbean never even heard of Africa, there's things that were inside you, deep inside, that made you go out there and want to beat a drum in a certain way, make you
mm,
want to dance a certain way.
that's right.
And it's just like it's just, and then some people are just like, oh yeah, I don't really want to hear Afro beats at carnival. It's not really that. It's not for them. It's like, look, kids, you need to educate yourself.
They do. And hopefully some of them will listen into this and hear what we're saying because it's so important that you check up on where you're coming from, man. I know we were born here in the UK, but there's so much history. There's so much. Uh, I think there's so much joy in where we're all coming from.
Yeah.
And our ancestry is massive. I mean, I'm Bangladeshi.
Yeah.
1970. We only got our independence as a Bangladeshi in 1981.
Yeah.
That's the year I was born.
Yeah.
So 1981, we got independence as Bangladesh. Before that, I was East Pakistan. Before that, it was India.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm like, when everybody calls each other all these words, I'm like, bro, you go back 100 years, I was Indian.
Yeah. Yeah.
Make no sense. But segregation has been put into place by big powers
that's how they
control again, isn't it?
Put all the countries into small sectors. That's why I really liked Ms. Marvel, because it opened my eyes to a part of the world that I didn't really study that much. I had my friends from that part of the world, but I didn't think about.
Yeah.
I used to remember like the East India Trade Company, all those sort of things. I know they took tea, things, they introduced opium, they did all these sort of things. But I never really thought at that time. I was thought those countries were always there. I didn't think that it was one big country that was separated, and the amount of violence and things that happened. And I'm just like, I was like, wow. And it took Miss Marvel to educate me, or just even put me on the path to get a little bit more education.
Yeah, no, exactly. And that's one thing I love about that, definitely.
And then, I really enjoyed that show.
Yeah. So definitely. Yeah, no, definitely. Great show, great history. I'm glad they even put that in there. So that's, Sana, who is the creator of Miss Marvel, praises to her.
Yeah.
She put in something that was really good that allows everybody else to look into new things, to be honest.
Yeah.
That's all right. That's okay. But yeah, no, definitely great show. I mean, I really enjoyed that. I loved your thoughts on it as well. Even like the in the house business was just brilliant. Like, just the family dynamics is just, so good. So good.
Great. I loved her dad. Like he was just, and you know what I often see, like you never really see you never all hear about the father-daughter dynamics of certain cultures and stuff like that. Yes, it might have been, hyped up to 100 because it's a TV show, but especially Asian and Black, like they never really show the daddy-daughter dynamics.
Yeah, man, that's right.
I just love their daughters, man.
Yeah.
And like, I know they also want to have it more like dads just stick with their sons, But no, in a lot of situations, I've seen it with family, friends, and stuff like that. Dad and daughter are like thick as thieves.
Yeah, exactly.
No matter what he does, you still got her back, no matter what.
Exactly. That's it's emotional. It got me, man. That show really got me when it came to that.
And I enjoyed seeing that positivity.
Yeah, definitely.
Especially for her having a strong male role model.
No, definitely. That plays a big part, man. Plays a big part. I always think if we can do that as fathers, then they can take on the world, man. And that's the main thing. And that's the hardest part, I think, for me being a parent and having a little girl was like, how am I going to get her through to be tough in this world, man? And not feel outsider or anything like that, because I watched that program and all I can see is my little girl going through school and the rest of it. And it's like, oh man, she's going to go through some of this. I help her. And the dad did exactly the right job, it's giving her that positivity and giving her that insight. And it's always about love, bro, man. That show absolutely, it touched me, man. It was brilliant. I was happy to see that, definitely.
I'm looking forward to the next one, and I'm thinking I'm not sure what will be out next, the next season or the Marvels. I can't think.
The Marvels.
So the Marvels will be first. So
Marvels will be first, man.
He will show up again. Then.
Yeah, definitely. I think they showed the trailer at D23, bro.
I don't think I've seen that. I didn't think I see it.
They haven't. That. They only showed it to the people that were at the expo. The only trailers we got was
Secret Invasion, and Was there another one? Secret Invasion. That might. Is there another one?
I think that was
That
it,
might
you
be.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the only thing that they gave to us, which was because they gave a lot in Comic Con, didn't they?
Yeah. Yeah.
We
So
still got
with
Guardians trailer. We got
yeah,
that's next year. That's been pushing next year.
under
So this
for
year we got yeah. What? Oh man, that trailer got me, man. That
and like
trailer got me. I was like, oh my god, how could you make a grown man cry with a trailer?
yeah, I know.
It was so good. And props to Ryan Coogler.
Yeah.
Still doing the project after
Yeah.
Chadwick's gone. I found that really cool, thinking Marvel are going to continue doing this story without
Yeah.
him. But then I was like, it's a tribute to him as well.
It's a tribute to
Uh,
him. You know,
yeah,
I'm the ones who I love Chadwick, but
yeah,
I'm one of the ones who recast the Black Panther. I know everyone wants Shuri, and I know Shuri was the Black Panther at one point, but I just think there's a lot of young men who need their character, who
mm.
need a character.
I, I'm
Okay,
50-50 on that one.
yeah,
Yeah, I
you
was
know,
50-50.
I know the main guy I would go for. I know he's currently in DC as
Mm-hmm.
Hawkman.
Oh man,
And
you're right.
Aldous
He
Hodge
would be
would be my
brilliant.
guy.
And you know what? Originally, because I heard a couple of rumors that if Marvel did continue it, his name popped up a lot, and I
Yeah,
was thinking he'd be awesome.
yeah,
I could see he'll pay respects to Chadwick in that role as well, but I
yeah.
could see a little bit of him in there as well. So I think he would have been wicked, bro. He would have been wicked.
You know, I
He
just
would have been wicked.
I think with the characters that we have now, we young black boys need one as
Yeah, no,
well.
you're right. I can agree with that. I can agree that 100%, hundred
I
percent.
know, I know, we just got Sam Wilson becoming Captain
Yeah,
America,
yeah.
but he's like kind of like I'll say like he's a black American,
Hmm. That's
you
right.
know.
That's right. That's right.
But
I don't
we
know
need.
who else they would do.
At one point, I even thought John Boyega. But he popped up in my mind for a while because when I when I want a character to play sort of Black Panther, the way I see it, and it's because I probably sound terrible, and I'm sorry to any of your American followers or fans, whatever. But like, I feel like they're too far removed from the culture. Like
Oh,
Brit-
interesting.
British Africans, British Caribbeans, say second generation, third generation, they could still turn on the accent at a,
Yeah,
at a like they could
that's true.
literally like go. You could be speaking to them normally, and then they'll see their mum, their dad, their uncle, and all of a sudden an accent will just come out of nowhere.
Yeah, it's so true. My friends do it all the time, man, and I'm like, how do you do that?
Yeah. So even when I speak to my mum, my partner, and my kids, sometimes they're like, when you speak to them, you sound way different when you talk. Like I sort of get this Caribbean twang
Yeah.
when I speak to my parents, and I don't know it's happening, but it's there, and everyone's like, "Who are you?"
It happens. It happens. It happens. We all. It's a really good thing though. Like I think it's powerful that we have that sort of terminology and structure in language when you're
Yeah,
speaking to your elders or when you're speaking to somebody from the same culture and background.
yeah,
I think it shows so much respect, man. Because like when I hear my best friend speak to his mum in patois, I'm like, wow, bro. Why don't you do this all the time, bro? This is amazing, bro. You just but then I learned because originally when I grew up with him, I was like,
yeah,
man, why is it that your mum always screams at you? And he's
yeah,
like, no, bro, it's a bit of a harsher language. And
yeah,
I was like, I feel like I'm gonna get in trouble every time I come around. And she was
yeah,
like, no, it's just the tone and it's just the
yeah,
way it's spoken. That's all it is. She's not angry. Don't worry, bro. Just come in the house, chill. We'll play some
yeah,
Mega Drive. And I was
yeah.
like, it's because I'm leaving late. Am I being disrespectful?
Yeah. So one thing I did like about Chadwick is he is an actor who put in the work. He was a guy who really, what I really gravitated to him was the fact that every role he did, he went deep. He like literally tried to grasp the character. when he was talking about doing Black Panther before it came out, he said that he studied dialects. He wanted to make sure that the audience and those people from Africa, when they see him and hear him speak, that they feel like he's actually one of them.
Yeah.
You know, so many other films I've seen where, say, like Eddie Murphy and like Coming to America or different comedians, and they try to put the accent, try to do an accent, and it's butchered.
Yeah, no, and that's tough. He did it really well when he played Jackie Robinson in 42.
Yeah,
with Harrison Ford, like, and then I watched 21 Bridge. Was it 21 Bridges? 21 Bridges, and then he did James Brown, bro.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Like he's a good at linguist, bro. He's just good at linguist. Like he's really good at that. Hold up, let me just see if my little girl's all right.
Yeah, sure.
What's up, Baba? Oh, you're tired? Okay, all right. Go on, get some sleep. You've had a... Oh, bless her.
Yeah.
She's had a long day. Her first week back at nursery, so she's like really adjusting badly.
They get so tired and like running around, they get hilarious. Like they're delirious.
It's so true. That she probably is, and like every night since she's got back, she's been the same. Yes, we're gonna go into She-Hulk. Finding it so far, bro?
Huh?
How are you finding it?
She-Hulk for me is what I thought it would be. Like, I love the series. I know I sometimes when I say I love stuff, I know it seems like I'm easily pleased because
I'm the same
with whatever Marvel puts out and stuff like that, but it's not true. This series, I've been waiting for this since I was 8, 9, 10 years old because I used to love the original Hulk series. All right. To me, I've spoken to a few people about this She-Hulk series, and they're like, there's no action, there's no smashing, like they're not introducing bad guys enough and stuff like that. And my take on it, and what I say to people is, take this away from the rest of the MCU. Imagine your next door neighbor is a superhero. They go to work, they come home, every now and then some madness happens. All right. I look at this She-Hulk series as a sitcom. All right. It's putting me like almost like, oh, the lady across the road happens to turn green every now and then. You know, and you're just going through like her life. So that's what the kind of this phase of the MCU was, bringing things down to ground level.
Yeah.
So like you had Hawkeye. So you had Kate Bishop is a fan of Hawkeye. She watched him defend New York.
Yeah.
You know, you had Falcon and Winter Soldier. He went and saw Sam's family. You saw them working every day. You saw them scrubbing the book. You saw them doing normal life stuff.
Everyday stuff, yeah.
Me as a fan, like, I feel like these shows are immersing me into the world. Like, you know, I'm part of it. I'm one of the guys just looking around like, what is going on here? Like, you know, this is insane.
Exactly what what they've done is grounded them.
Yeah.
I mean, getting to see that Sam was going through issues where he can't get money from a bank.
Yeah.
That's like real life things that happen. You know what I mean? Yeah. So they've grounded it so much more. I think people were expecting... I don't know what people are expecting no more. That's my thing.
Almost like they are expecting everything to be a movie quality, movie spectacle. Now, and they're not used to Marvel bringing things to a level where, like, some of the shows with Marvel, I admit, had pacing issues. But it's because they those shows into a movie and they broke them down to 30-minute segments.
That's right.
So you'd watch the show come to a small cliffhanger, then the next show will be a bit like slow, a bit dead, building you up to the next bit, the next cliffhanger. But that that bridging episode was one where you'd be like, oh, nothing happened.
Yeah,
But where if you watched it the full movie for 2 hours, you're like, oh, okay, this makes sense. This makes sense. This makes sense. This makes sense.
that's right. That's right.
The great thing about Miss Marvel and She-Hulk is they have turned it into a series, a real series, a real sitcom.
Yeah, that's right.
There
Yeah,
and enjoy it. So, like in my head, She-Hulk could go on for 3 years in a row now because you've got an episode of different things
that's right.
happening. She
That's
can
right.
introduce so many characters into the MCU,
Of
like
course.
ground level, all the way up to like even Doctor Strange level or
Yeah,
whatever.
that's right.
Who could just cameo in her show and then go off into one of the movies.
And I think the important part that people, because a lot of the fans that have come into this now are not really, I don't want to sound bad, but they haven't, gone through the 40 years of history of She-Hulk in the comic books. But it's
Yeah,
it's a sitcom comic book. She breaks the fourth wall. She's like
all
the first character to do that, except Deadpool. She
yeah,
was the first character to do that.
yeah,
So, I mean, I have my issues with the show, but
yeah.
it's a great watch. I'm excited for Thursdays.
That's that's the same with
Got
me. Like
something to watch. So, like, I get these characters on the screen now, where before, I still read comic books, but the fact that
yeah,
I've got a different story on the screen and
yeah,
I've got real visuals to work with,
yeah,
it, it's appealing for me. But I
yeah.
think the argument that I get now, because like me and my brother, he's not been enjoying it, and
Okay,
I'm
yeah,
like, you've got to see it from this view where it's like, as you said, it's a sitcom.
yeah,
It's not really leading to anywhere, but it's
yeah,
going to introduce new things.
yeah,
Uh, and I think that's why it's got me hooked on it, because I kind of like, they've got a bit light-hearted, which is
yeah,
fine. It works with a TV show. They don't
yeah,
need to be so serious all the time, because we got serious with Cap and Winter Soldier.
yeah, yeah,
That was a hard, gritty show. So them getting a bit more light-hearted, and then they got Moon Knight as well, which deals with mental health issues.
yeah,
You know,
yeah,
we've got your serious and you've got your light-hearted,
yeah.
and I've enjoyed all of it. So
And the thing is with
yeah,
like Jen, I said she can bring in so many different characters. Like imagine one episode, hopefully they cast another Iron Fist. But imagine if one day she has to has the Defenders come in, or she has or the Heroes for Hire, and she's got to do a case for them. They've just cameoed, and then from there you've segued into like
yeah,
however many stories that that they're in this world, or like someone who Wilson Fisk is supporting. She has to go and do a case and put one of them behind bars or something like that, or defend one of them for Fisk because he's
exactly.
paid her company how much money.
Yeah, exactly.
And, you've got like Bullseye sat there like I didn't really mean to put a throwing star through their head. It was kind of like an accident. I was aiming over there. It's just.
And I could totally see that happening as well. I mean, Miss Marvel opened up the reality of mutants,
Yeah,
like just for that key moment. I mean, the show got its hate, but I
yeah.
think it did great. Personally, it reached a new audience as well, and I think She-Hulk has done the same. I mean, when I see She-Hulk, it does remind me of like Ally McBeal.
That's it. That's
Yeah, it, it's got
if
that
I
same.
let me give you a virtual fist bump right there. That's
Yeah.
the one. That's my
So
shit.
like I watched that show, so like I can see the inspiration they got from that show and said, "This is perfect for She-Hulk. This is what we need to do for She-Hulk." And it works in a sense where you're right. So much can happen, and we can see so many more seasons because
Yeah,
we could get, as you said, other characters jumping in and out. I mean,
yeah,
Heroes for Hire would be sick, bro. That's the one I'm waiting for, bro.
yeah.
I'm waiting for that. I absolutely loved season one of Luke Cage all the way
Yeah.
up to.
Oh, fantastic.
I was like, oh man, because I think Mahershala Ali
Yeah,
absolutely smashed that role.
yeah.
And I forgot the actor's name who plays Luke Cage.
Oh, Mike Coulter.
Yeah, Mike Cole. I think he's brilliant, bro. He was perfect for that role,
Perfect. Bill.
and introduced a lot of uh, it introduced old school hip hop to
Yeah,
everybody again, which I
yeah,
absolutely loved. But yeah, he was massive. He put on a lot of weight for that show, man. Yeah,
yeah.
he bulked up.
So people like obviously you can't influence people, you can't say, but like you just like people need to like just sit back and you know enjoy it for what it is. Because obviously even like the episode where everyone's going, oh, she's been twerking and stuff like that. Do you understand? You just brought pop culture into the MCU, so it means they're living the world that you're living in.
Exactly, exactly, exactly.
How,
But I
how can you
think
not?
I think people are spoiled now, bro.
Yeah,
We're spoiled for content, but
yeah,
we're getting everything like quick as a button. Where we grew up in that era where we had to wait. Wait, actually, we waited 10 years for Terminator 2, bro. We
yeah,
waited 10 years for Terminator 2, and
yeah,
these guys are getting it within a year of a sequel. You know what I mean, or TV show. So it's
yeah,
like the reality flip on where we're probably more grateful for the content that we get
yeah,
at the rate it's coming out.
yeah.
Back in the 90s, man, 10 years for Terminator 2, bloody hell, bro, that's a long time, man, to wait for a sequel. And we didn't know if there was going to be a sequel. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So we waited years, and I think it's the same thing with like music. You know, we're spoiled for the amount of stuff that we get out there, basically.
the attention span has come into like 15-second um 15-second moments, like
Yeah,
you can't
exactly.
go, I don't go to bars or clubs anyway, but when you the odd time I have been, they put a song on, you're like, oh yeah, I really like this song, and all of a sudden they change it again. It's like, what? Hang on a minute.
Nah, they didn't let it breathe, bro. They didn't
It was
let
like,
it breathe.
you know, yeah, the whole world's become TikTok, like, or just that 10 seconds to 15 seconds.
I think that's quite scary to hear, bro, because like I'm a big fan of the garage era.
Yeah, yeah,
And I was listening to it in my car the other day, and I was like, brought back a lot of memories.
yeah,
DJ EZ is one of my favorite DJs,
yeah,
uh, and the way he brought tracks in. But we got to hear the track before
yeah.
you can kind of
Before,
listen to what he's bringing in,
yeah,
and
they
you're
give you
like, you're right, because somebody else said the other day I went out and I should have just stayed my ass home because
yeah,
every like 20 seconds he didn't even mix the track in; he just dropped
yeah,
it, and I'm like,
yeah.
that is, I couldn't deal with that, bro. Couldn't deal
DJ
with that at all.
it's easier just to play a little bit, and then it gives you time to look at your friend and like you're like, is he about to do what he thinks he's about to do? Is he about to drop
And then
it?
it's the let's go. Oh man, I'm telling you, loved it, and
It's a lot.
that's what I'm saying. It's just that I think generally as consumers, we've been spoiled. I mean,
Yeah,
technology has taken a massive leap, bro. From like
yeah,
you talk about 10 years ago when the first iPhone came out, bro.
yeah,
And
yeah.
smartphones started to kick in.
And
Laptops changed the world. Smart TVs changed the world.
now people shoot a
It,
movie on that.
exactly, bro. Exactly, exactly. And I'm actually surprised with sometimes some of the content that I get on my camera phone, and I'm like, why did I study photography? I studied photography, and I was like, I paid thousands for that camera, man, and now a device this small
Yeah,
captures similar quality, and like people
yeah,
are shooting films on it, and it's amazing. Like, don't get me wrong, I think creativity in people
yeah,
have jumped up on a level because
yeah,
during lockdown, bro, and this is where I got to meet you as well during
yeah,
like scrolling through videos
yeah, yeah,
and how creativity flourished amongst people where they're doing video editing. You're doing green screen on a Zoom call.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah,
It's like it's come to a point where you're like, you know what? It's got its advantages, but it does
yeah.
have its disadvantages, which I've
Well,
seen in like some
I
of the
think I just,
schools that go on.
yeah, I think I just, there was another Werewolf by Night, wasn't it a D23 as well?
Yes, that's right. Yep, Werewolf by Night, which were interesting. We saw a little snippet of Man Thing in there.
Yeah,
Uh, they're heading in they're experimenting in phase 4 a lot
yeah,
more, and I think the next phases we're gonna get a bit more creative
yeah.
sort of projects
Midnight,
going on.
Midnight Suns,
Come
maybe.
on, please, man, come on. I want that so badly. Like, come on. Like, but
Could
the
you
thing is, it's like
imagine?
that they haven't mentioned nothing about. I mean, we're gonna get Blade is already
Yeah,
done filming, and we're
yeah,
gonna get that next year. But like the X-Men and introducing them, like they've gave us that tease in Miss Marvel. They
yeah.
didn't say anything at San Diego Comic Con. They didn't say anything at D23, and you're like, Come on, man. I know we're getting the cartoon. The '97 cartoon is coming back, which is amazing. But come on, man. I want to see who the new characters we're going to get. Like, who's going to be Cyclops? Who's going to be Wolverine? Stuff like that.
How would you introduce the X-Men? I know it might take up the rest of the podcast, but
no, that's fine. That's fine. That's fine.
How would you think about introducing them?
So you know what? Originally, I thought it would have came through Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, and I thought that was a perfect segue to bring those characters in.
Yeah.
Then Spider-Man No Way Home. Sorry, so Spider-Man No Way Home and those would have been the movies that through. But thinking for a very long time and speaking to my brother about it, the way I think they should introduce the X-Men is in the 6-part TV shows, because I feel like they can grow the characters more that way, and it's not just a quick 2.5-hour movie. Let's try and fit everything in there. They've got 45 minutes to 30 minutes to play with different aspects of the X-Men, but we don't need origin stories.
No, just everyone knows it.
If you want to, and that's what they
go look for it.
Yeah, exactly. They will give us origins. I know little snippets of it, but they don't have to give us a full episode or a full movie about it. They could do exactly what they did with Spider-Man in this universe, in the MCU. He was just Spider-Man.
Yeah, would you have it as a mind wipe that people didn't realize they were there? Would you have it as in like Quantum Mania, which is coming soon? Would you have it as in like there's some huge explosion of quantum energy, and maybe say like the world of mutants was condensed by a spell or something, and now it's exploded, or a way that they were always there somehow? Because for me, it's hard to picture characters that are going to be of certain ages, just appearing, and no one knew anything.
And that's going to be very hard, because as we're going in 15 years now, MCU.
Yeah.
And not one word. I mean, we only had the one word which they did in Miss Marvel.
Yeah.
So mutation in the blood, which originally Sana wanted to make her a mutant, but Marvel executives changed it to an Inhuman. But we're not getting Inhumans in this. But then it's confusing, because Black Bolt was introduced in.
Yeah.
So the Inhumans do exist in, that sort of part of the MCU and the different dimension. I just genuinely thought it would have came through one of the dimensions, or, I mean, the way they're going to introduce it, I think.
Do you think Quantum Mania? Do you think it would be a incursion? Maybe
incursion could play a part. Yeah, incursion can play a part. I think mutants do exist, because they didn't really fully explain Scarlet Witch's power.
Yeah,
and that's where I thought in Multiverse of Madness that she did something, but like in the comic book, she got rid of all the mutants, but then in reality she brings them back again. So I thought she would have been the key to bring mutants into that universe, but I really don't know, because they're not on the. I mean, this is me looking into it too deep. They're not on. They're not into the phase 5 or phase 6 of the MCU. The only way I can.
Could it be the Darkhold? Could it be
Darkhold? Could be.
I just feel like there'll be too much stuff that would have happened for them not to have been on anyone's radar.
That's what I'm thinking. That's exactly what I'm thinking. That for them not to be, we're working in the background.
Yeah.
I don't know. X-Men.
I'll leave it in the school of Feige, but there will be questions from me.
There's always questions. We'll always have questions, because I still have it about certain things, but they're not major that it's gonna throw me out of the MCU. Yeah. Like, I'm fully invested now. But I think if they do introduce mutants, I thought it would have been. I think it'd be through Captain America, bro.
You know what? I was just thinking the same thing, but thinking that maybe it was like a cover up.
Yeah.
Say he went back to, even when he was delivering some of the stones back.
See, that would have been an interesting story. That would have been actually quite cool, because when he could
the reality,
something.
Like a general gets a reality stone and then cast the cast a,
Man,
like a
that gets
spell.
mystical, man. Yeah, it gets mystical. So the other thing as well, like you got the scroll that are living in the
Yeah,
MCU and they're portraying different characters. I mean, we're getting Secret Invasion. It could be something in
yeah,
there as well. I feel like it's going to be like a shield cover up. We've got mutants
yeah.
that have been working in the background,
Or like a
something
mirror,
like that. I mean,
like a
yeah,
mirror dimension. They've been in the mirror dimension. That's why there's been no like ripple effect with the current MCU.
current MCU. That's right. That's right. It
You know,
could be. It could be. We'll have to wait and see, man. Kevin Feige and his 20-year plan.
yeah.
I'm sure he'll get us through it, bro. We'll find
You
out
have,
soon enough. But
you have the scroll. You have the Kree. You have the Shi'ar. You know,
mhm.
you have Lalandra floating around somewhere.
Oh my
You have
god, yes, that's massive,
Gladiator.
and that's like Guardians of the Galaxy sort of
Yeah,
territory there.
with
So because if we're
Gladiator.
gonna get, because he should be, because we're getting Adam Warlock soon, bro.
Yeah,
So we're getting Adam Warlock, which is gonna open up that side of the universe even more because they've all worked together.
yeah,
So it'll be interesting actually see. I feel like they're getting a bit more. They're opening up a lot more, which is probably
yeah,
confusing people a lot more
yeah,
because you've not just got the multiverse. This is going to be called the multiverse saga, which I
yeah,
think an incursion could happen, and then that's where we get mutants.
yeah. But do you
But
get? But would you bring in the X-Men? Would you just start with new? Would you just start with new heroes? Would you just bring in obscure ones and they become
mm,
your mutants?
that's
Because
true.
I know in She-Hulk, if you saw the Easter egg about Man in Bar fights with metal claws.
Yeah, 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 yeah. So he's because I thought they would have because in Winter Soldier, sorry, Cap and Winter Soldier, had they went to Mandroport, didn't they?
Yeah,
And that's a place where Wolverine went away for a little while just
yeah,
to get away from all the madness.
yeah,
And worked at a bar for a little while with the Hulk.
yeah,
I think this is Smart Hulk at the time in the comic books, but
yeah,
uh, I thought they would have introduced him there. But the fact that they've already put him in there,
yeah,
we could be getting them even earlier. But introductions through different characters. I mean, She Hulk would be the perfect way in.
yeah, yeah.
That it would be the perfect segue into that. So yeah, definitely think they've got a plan. I mean, the fact
yeah,
that they've given us Wolverine already in
yeah.
that section, and I don't know if you've watched that program. It's on Apple TV right now. It's called I can't remember off the top of my head now. It's gone now. What's that
Yeah.
character's name? English actor name? Is it? He was in Kingsman.
Oh,
Edward Eddington or something.
yeah,
Edward.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah. So he bulked up, bro. He's looking hench. I was
yeah,
like, oh, because I know that he had a meeting with Marvel.
yeah,
And you see this TV program, and you're like, oh, hey, hold up. Why is his like deltoids look so big? Like, why is this guy
yeah,
looking like he's looking like this? Like,
yeah,
because he's short as well. And if they
yeah,
do pick him, I'll be happy because I do want a short Wolverine.
yeah,
Uh, but he looks like he really put on that Wolverine body shape.
yeah.
So I'm
It's a tough
thinking,
one because again, like he's a good actor, but can he play Wolverine? Like Wolverine
yeah,
to
and I
me,
think it's too clean.
yeah, like he's even because for ages I thought Daniel Radcliffe for ages. I was thinking, oh, he's got a beard on him. It's like, but he I don't think he could get that. You know that um Hugh Jackman Raw.
Yeah,
I
yeah, yeah, yeah. Of course, man.
just can't
That
see
Raw
that
was something else, bro. Uh,
coming out. But I did think of an actor the other day.
yeah.
Trying to remember his name, but he was in Gone in 60 Seconds. He played a character called Tumblr, the one who said he could drive anything. Now he's also in Ocean's 11, Ocean 12,
Yes,
Ocean
yes,
13.
yes. I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, he's only 5'5" or 5'6", and I think he was in an American show, Miami Vice or something like that. Not Miami Vice,
Oh
something
wait,
similar. Five O.
Hawaii 05. Yeah, Hawaii
Yeah,
50. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. He's in that, and he's got that built, and
he
he's got
has that
the
peak.
look. Yeah,
He's got a thick head,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
so
I
he
can
pops into
see
my
that.
head, and I thought maybe he could do it.
He could. I mean, it depends on what they're gonna go for. I mean, for
Yeah.
some weird reason, ever since the boys, I keep seeing Carl Urban as Wolverine.
Again,
It's the
like,
beard and the hair, and I was like, he could put on a bit of mass, but then
yeah,
he's a bit too tall, and it's like
yeah.
I
Now
just
that he's
need
too.
that short man syndrome, man.
Yes,
I
I don't
need
know if
that.
you saw my post the other day on TikTok, right? Or why I fan casted my own X-Men.
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. I did.
And a lot of people came back to me and saying like, "Oh, this person too old, that person too old," and I'm like, I get what you're saying, but if you're going to join the MCU, you're going to have a Captain America who's damn near 100 years old. You've got just obviously God rest Tony Stark's
Yeah,
heart, but
yeah,
probably he's playing character who's mid 40s,
yeah. That's
early
right.
50s sort of
Yeah.
thing. Colonel Rhodes, all these
Mm-hmm.
guys. You bring in the X-Men crew, and these guys are all in their early 20s. I don't know if it.
It's not gonna work.
You'll have to start brand new. You'll have to be like the X-Men are here now.
Mm.
They're joining now, and these are a young crew. You've got a guy playing Professor X, and he's only like 35.
Mm. I can't see it. I can't see that happening at all. Not that young.
Yeah,
Not that young. Yeah, not that young. And even with, I mean, what we got with the X-Men movies that we did get, they were all pretty great.
it
Just,
was seasoned.
uh,
It was seasoned.
yeah, it was seasoned. Yeah, that's right. They were all seasoned. They were already veterans in what they were doing. The only
Yeah,
thing that threw me off with those movies was that I didn't like the fact that Mystique played such a big part
yeah, yeah,
of that. And I was like, how the hell does she like become like the main thing in this, man? It doesn't make
yeah,
sense. But
yeah.
you're right. They're all seasoned and they all fit the characters pretty well. Uh, it'd be interesting to see where they go with that. Definitely see where they go with that. But yeah, X
Yeah.
Men.
I want them there. I want to see some more mutants. It's like, and then I saw someone talking about how if they brought in Magneto, like obviously they can't use Ian McKellen. He's way
No,
too old, and
no.
obviously they need to restart. But how do you introduce a character whose story arc is built around the Holocaust,
It's going to be difficult. That'd be very difficult.
and then try and have his dynamic with Charles
Hmm.
being two sides of a coin, but then have it at an age range that people now will believe?
Oh man, that's going to be difficult. You're
Unless
right.
you
That's going to be totally difficult.
unless you change, obviously the comics are the comics, unless you change the time period and you make it, do you turn Magneto into say someone who was born in Iraq,
That's true. That's very true.
or
That place has
or
gone through its fair share.
or a war that happened maybe in the early 90s or
I
something
mean,
like that?
the go for is yeah 90s. I mean, Vietnam again. You're going way too far. I mean, that was based on Tony Stark's story on how he
Yeah,
got hurt was Vietnam War.
yeah,
Uh, yeah, that'd be hard, bro. That'd be really hard because I'm thinking I don't know how people would take it.
yeah,
Iraqi Magneto. I mean,
yeah,
they're still kicking up fuss about having can't remember his name as well for Professor Xavier, the guy
yeah, yeah.
from Breaking Bad. What's his
Actually, what's his name? I
I have to get it because he's in the Mandalorian, but
Yeah, and
uh,
he's obviously in the boys.
I have to get his name. I'm IMDb this now.
Gustavo. Gustavo. No, that's his name in Breaking Bad, isn't it? Gustavo.
Oh man, me and my brother are bad at this. Usually we kind of prep ourselves, but
Yeah.
okay, it's coming. Let's see. What's his name? And hopefully I don't butcher his name as well, which is embarrassing. Where's it gone? No, you're right. Yeah, Espisto.
Yeah.
Espresso. Man, I'm gonna get in trouble. I don't mean to offend nobody, but he's got a really hard name.
Yeah.
Gianni Carlo. Gianni
Yeah.
Carlo is his first name.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they want, people are spreading rumors for him to be
Yeah.
Professor Xavier. I can see it. He's got the voice for it. I can think he can play it.
Yeah.
But I think everybody else's problem is again the
Yeah.
typecast. He's not going to be the white bald man. He doesn't need to be a white bald man because when Stan Lee created those characters, they were
Yeah,
based off Malcolm X
Malcolm X
and Martin Luther King. Yeah.
yeah. No,
So
it's
you're like,
when I did my version of the X-Men, like there was points when I thought like, oh, would I switch this character to this? And then I don't know if it's mentally ingrained in me from being like watching like the '97 cartoon and before that. Like the characters I chose were, I was thinking as close to that as
yeah,
I can make. You know, I guess I'm someone who sometimes obviously my mind just looks at characters as the way I saw them in the comics and stuff like that. And I
yeah,
don't
no,
know
of course.
if I'm just ingrained in that way to just accept it the way it is. But
Well, no, I think, I mean, that goes into a whole different topic, bro, and a different conversation where we're kind of brainwashed with the things that we're seeing on screen.
yeah,
You know, we're gonna whatever we see in the comic books, whatever we saw on the screen is going to be ingrained in us. You know, we're always going
yeah,
to see that. But trying to see outside the box, where you're like, oh, you know what, he'd be actually really good. I think I can see him play
yeah.
Professor Xavier,
I can see him
and
playing.
that the cast wouldn't be a difference. I mean, I think who did they? So just to let you know, so with the Scarab from Moonlight,
Yeah,
Layla becomes the Scarlet Scarab was
yeah.
originally a dude.
Oh yeah. Oh, okay.
He was
Yeah,
originally a dude.
but they've done it with a few characters now where they've sort of switched them.
Yeah, so it works. So I think as over time I've just learned to accept that because
Yeah,
yes, me reading the comic books, you know, majority of it were white characters, you know.
yeah,
Until I saw Wolverine and I was like, hold up, man, this guy got some different ethnicity, man. He was like Canadian, but I was like, nah, man, he's got a bit of brown in his skin, bro.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Got something else in him. And he pays so much respect to everything, you know, when he went to Japan and stuff like that. I just felt like he's got so many coaches and he's grown up with so much
yeah.
more. I
Wolverine
relate
stories.
to that character more.
He's
Yeah.
everywhere. Been everywhere.
So I feel like he takes on a lot of that from his journeys and what he's learned. So it'll be an interesting one, bro. Definitely an interesting one to see what they do and how they bring the X-Men. I think. I mean, we're going to be surprised when we see it. So that's the main thing. I'll be happy to just to see. I want to see a better laid out X-Men. You know,
Yeah,
the movie weren't great. I mean, the only ones that I took away from there was Days of Future Past and
yeah, yeah,
Logan.
yeah. Oh my God, Logan. We said it before, man. Logan is just my film. You know what? I literally had tears in my eyes watching that film.
And that gave me the respect to Hugh Jackman because when I watched those X-Men movies, I was like, no, man, he's not Wolverine, man. I
Yeah,
can't see this tall
yeah,
ass dude as Wolverine. He's killing me. But
yeah,
then, you know, X-Men 2, I was
yeah,
like, you know what? I'll give him props for what he's
yeah,
done. Then he was in Days of Future Past and he did Logan. He did Wolverine Origins.
yeah,
I was like,
yeah,
oh, right, he backed up, man. He's
yeah,
looking the part now. The hair's coming out and everything. I was like, okay, he's looking the part now. Then you know we got Days of Future Past, which I thought he looked absolutely awesome. And
yeah,
then
yeah,
you said it, bro, the raw and the way he played it and the
yeah,
way the claws. I was like, you know what, I got to give him props. And then Logan just knocked it out of the park because
yeah,
that was more of a film about acting, bro. That
yeah, yeah.
regardless that it's a superhero film, that was an acting film, and he
Yeah.
made me feel it at the end.
It was a
My
super
wife,
in,
was like, "You okay?" I was
yeah,
like,
super
no, I'm not.
indie made
Yeah,
film,
that's right.
and you know that could have been shot on a mobile phone. I don't know, but hey, the best mobile phone I've ever seen in my life. Like,
Exactly that. Exactly that. So it's like, no, Logan, man. I'll great film. You know what? I'm gonna watch it tonight. That's my Friday night movie, man. Fuck it. I'm looking to cry. Let's go for it, bro. Because you know when Laura said that quote,
yeah,
they put the X down. I was like, oh man, you're just killing me, man. What you doing, guys, man? How you make all these grown men cry in the cinema and all their wife is laughing at them? I'm like,
yeah. No,
but they felt it as well. They did feel it as well. They did. They
like
just
I
hid
said,
their tears, man.
it was about acting. It was literally
Yeah,
a film that it was almost like Clint Eastwood, like a Clint Eastwood film.
yeah, exactly that.
But
Exactly that.
somehow there were superheroes in it.
Yeah, exactly that. Exactly. It grounded it so much, bro. And you know, interesting to say that they like James Mango took that story from the comic books because it's actually probably one of my favorite comic books,
Yeah, yeah,
and they
yeah,
changed it dramatically
yeah,
to fit the screen.
yeah,
And you're like, okay, like I've always been a problem. I've always had a problem with people not using the source material.
Yeah, well,
We,
some of the
we've
source
got,
material,
we've got
some
eight
of the source
years.
material,
We've got 8 years of like mythology and
yeah,
stories that they can take, but they don't follow it, and that's why some of the movies just don't work out really well.
yeah,
But Logan was just, it was
yeah.
brilliant, man. Beautiful
They,
story.
they had a bunch of
Father and
Hulklings running.
daughter thing again, isn't it? So
Yeah, yeah.
that
If they went true stories of that, and then you had a bunch of Hulklings running around and like a blind Hawkeye, and like, yeah, that would have to be like a 21 rating or something.
yeah, no, exactly that, exactly that. All right, Klynton,
Yeah,
I've kept you long enough, bro. It's a Friday night, man. I can't thank you so much for jumping on again, and it's always nice to catch up with you.
pleasure. I'm
Uh,
here whenever. You know what I
no,
mean?
definitely more. We will conversate more because I think the deeper side of like comic mythology and the
Yeah,
world we live in now, I think it's
yeah,
an interesting conversation that we have, and I'd would love to hear more of it. And the guys out there as well. Remember, go into the description box and check out our previous episode.
yeah.
Go follow Klynton through the cow on TikTok.
Through the cow.
He got some.
Oh, yeah.
He's got
And
some
it's
through the cow, right?
through the cow. Yeah,
Through the cow. Make sure you check it out, guys. And I mean, what I tell the listeners most of the time is go out there and put yourself out there as much as you
yeah,
can, but do not hurt yourself in the process. And I
yeah,
think,
definitely.
and that's from personal experience. Uh, know when to have a break. Know when you need to switch off, but
Yeah.
come back, and you're gonna feel refreshed or not. There's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with being away for a little while.
Why
Nothing wrong
not?
with that. So
I think we were lucky because we grew up without it, so we know what it's like to
yeah,
step away from it.
yeah.
You
But
know,
some people don't.
I've got a teenage son, I've got a teenage stepdaughter, you know what I mean, and so on. And it's just like you see how this thing is become a part of their being.
You can't even amputate it off them. They're like, oh, it's
Yeah,
hard, and
you know,
like sometimes it's
noses.
not. They'll be scrolling with their noses. I'm telling
Yeah,
you, it's like it's a weird thing at the moment. But I tell everybody that listens into the show is like sometimes just get away, break away, go to the park, do something, go for walks. We're on screens most of the day. I mean, I do an office job, so I'm always on the screen. But I learned that when I came back, it was not necessity to be always on it. So having I've learned something out of it as well, and being present in just everyday life.
yeah.
You know.
I feel lucky because like I said, I live in Bournemouth, so I
Mm,
work in London in a week, and then as my first opportunity to escape, I get go back home, and it's like say like Monday just gone. Before I went to
mm,
work on me and my partner and the baby, we went for a walk along the beach. You know,
lovely.
just chill, we have some lunch, that sort of thing. And then I go to London and it's just grind, grind, grind. I'm in the grey. Like, you know,
No, it's nice to have that, man. It's a beautiful thing, and I tell the listeners as well, is have that moment to yourself, have that break. And sometimes I know we see it online as well. People saying hustle, 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 grind, grind. You don't
yeah,
have to. You can take that to help yourself in that moment. Remember, look after yourself, keep yourself refreshed and cool. And
yeah.
again, Klynton, thank you so much again for jumping on again, bro.
Pleasure. Always a pleasure.